Okay, let's everybody get together with your small group. Let's go. Get together with your small group. Let's go, boys. Everybody with your small group. Berlio, small group. Well, I just want to say welcome back to Path this week. We had a great time last week. I wasn't able to be here. I need your attention, guys. Thank you. Thank you for coming back this week. I hope you had a great time last week. I wasn't able to be here. I actually had parent conferences at my school that I had to deal with. So but I'm glad to be back this week to see all your bright, shining faces with masks on. So we're going to start off with a game tonight. Then I will ask about our question of the week from last week, see what kind of answers we have, and then I'll turn it over to our speaker for the evening. So first of all, we're going to be playing Simon Says. Simon Says. Okay, everyone stand up. Okay, you all just lost because I didn't say Simon Says. But I will give you a second chance. So here we go. Simon Says, put your right arm in the air. Simon Says, put your left arm in the air. Simon Says, clap your hands. Simon Says, clap your hands again. Clap your hands 3 times. Oh, if you clapped, you're out. Simon Says, put your arms down by your side. Simon Says, hop on your right foot. Simon Says, hop on your left foot. Hop on your right foot. Oh, if you switch feet, you are out. Simon Says, stop. Simon Says, put 5 fingers up on your right hand. Put 5 fingers up on your right hand. Simon Says, put 2 fingers up on your left hand. Simon Says, put up 2 more fingers on your left hand. Simon Says, how many fingers do you have? Simon Says, put your last finger up on your right hand, or your left hand. Put your last finger up on your left hand. Left, right. Simon Says, put up only 2 fingers on your right hand. Now put 3 fingers up on your left hand. Oh, if you went to 3, you are out. Okay, Simon Says, put your fingers down. You're good. Okay. Simon Says, hop in place. Stop. Oh, if you stopped, you're out. Simon Says, stop. Simon Says, touch your toes. Simon Says, touch your knees. Simon Says, touch your shoulders. Touch your head. Oh, if you touched your head, you're out. Simon Says, touch your waist. Simon Says, touch your knees. Simon Says, put 1 hand on your foot, 1 on your knee. Put your other hand on your foot and your other hand on your knee. Good job. Simon Says, put your hands on your head. Simon Says, move your head back and forth. Stop. Okay, good job. If you stopped, you're out. Simon Says, stop, so you don't have to get sick to yourself. Simon Says, you can put your hands down. Simon Says, spin around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Simon Says, turn the other way 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Turn around the other way 3 times. Oh, good job. Simon Says, play rock, paper, scissors with your partner. The winner needs to sit down. Now you're out because Simon didn't say the winner had to sit down. Simon says, give a high five to yourself. Simon says, give an air high five to somebody else. Look at another person, give another air high five. Good job. Simon says, balance on one leg. Simon says, balance on your other leg. Simon says, put your leg down. Put your other leg up. Good job. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we've got some really good listeners. So everybody who's sitting down needs to watch them to make sure nobody's sneaking through. Simon says, cross your legs, like me. Simon says, go down and try to touch one of your toes. Stand up. Oh, if you moved, you're out. Simon says, stand up. Simon says, uncross your legs. You're in a marathon, I'll give you a break. Simon says, put your hands on the side of your head like a moose. Simon says to move your hands back and forth like you're moving your antlers. Stop. Oh, if you stopped, you're out. Simon says stop. Simon says put your antlers down. Gosh, you guys are good. Simon says, I know, I gotta figure out something else. Okay. Simon says put your right hand in the air. Simon says put your right hand down. Put your left hand in the air. Simon says put your left hand in the air. Simon says put your right hand in the air. Simon says put both hands down. Put both hands up. Oh, if you start going up, you're down. Okay. Simon says do the chicken dance. Na 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 na. Simon says, cluck like a chicken while you're doing it. Simon says, stop. Simon says, act like an elephant. Simon says, bring your trunk up in the air. Bring your trunk back down. Simon says, bring your trunk back down. Simon says, touch your knees, but cross your hands on your knees. Simon said that. Yeah. Simon says, keep on switching them back and forth, like this. Simon says, stop. Simon says, do it again. Keep crossing back and forth, and stop. If you stopped, you're out. Simon says you can stop. Simon says you can stand up. Simon says find a partner or somebody who's still standing. Okay. Simon says, give a high five. Simon says, bump knuckles. Simon says, wave high. Simon says, stop. Shh. Guys, be quiet so we can hear. Okay. Okay, Simon says, give another high five. Simon says, bump knuckles. Simon says, touch your head. Simon says, touch your other hand on your head. Simon says bump elbows. Shake hands. Oh, Alex, gotcha. Okay, you can take your hands off your head. Oh, Molly. Simon says you can take your hands off your head. Okay, let's bring the 4 up here in the front. Bring the 4 last ones up here in the front. Simon says the 4 of you can come up front. Okay. Simon says do 10 jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Simon says do jumping jacks until I say to stop. Stop. Simon says stop. Let's say Simon says we are the winners. We got 4 winners. We got 3 adults and 1 student. So let's hear it for our 4 winners. Great job, guys. Okay. Our question for the week last week. Listen up, please. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your conversation should be done and eyes and ears up here. Thank you. Our question for the week last week was, where is one place you feel like you belong? Where is one place you feel like you belong? And last week, remember we had Jim here. He was talking about belonging and having had his dog here as well. And I think you guys got to pet the dog and such. I was watching it online. But it was talking about belonging and being a part of something, being a part of our bigger group, but also being a part of different groups at school. Guys, really, there's a lot of talking going on, which tells me you can't be listening too well. So let's listen up, please. So the question that was posed to your small groups last week was, where is one place you feel like you belong? What kind of answers did we come up with? Yes? Your what? In her bedroom? She feel like she belongs in her bedroom? Where else? In the way back. Loud and clear. The library? That's school. Now let's think about probably a little bit more closer, not necessarily an actual place, but maybe a group that you belong in. Did anybody have a group that they felt like they belonged to? Is there a group of friends or a group at school or a group here at church that you feel like maybe you feel like you belong? Now you're not going to talk? What about if you're in band at school? Do you feel like you belong as part of the band? What if you're on a football team? You feel like part of the football team? Feel like you belong that? What if you're, just in a extracurricular group outside of school? Such as maybe cross country or different kinds of sports that you can be involved in, different kinds of musical things you can be involved in, art. How many of you enjoy drawing or painting or doing art? And that could be part of the group that you feel like you belong to. So there's a whole bunch of different areas where you feel like you can belong. Not necessarily places, but people, and people who have some common thoughts and common feelings about those things. One of those communities here is church as well. We want you to feel like you belong with your small group, and that's where we would like for you to start so you can keep on building those relationships over the course of time. So, with no further ado, I'm going to introduce to you our speaker for the evening. Our speaker tonight is going to be Ryan Holmer. Ryan is a Ryan is a former PATH student. He's a former PATH leader. He's working on admin with us this year, and he's graciously asked. We asked him to teach for us, and he said absolutely. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. So thank you, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you, Jared. Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight? That was sad. How are we doing? There we go. So tonight we're going to be wrapping up our series on the big questions. And as Jared was talking about last week, we talked about where do you guys belong? What types of groups, what type of places do you belong in? Tonight we're going to probably talk a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about purpose. That's a big word, but we'll get into that later. So I want to first ask you guys some small questions that you probably have the answer to. How many of you have ever played with either of these? Who knows Minecraft? Who's played with Legos, right? Right? All right. So, what are some things you guys enjoy about either of these? What are some things that are fun with them? Yeah. Yep. Nice. Okay. Yep, that's 6th grade. What else? What else is fun with these things? Yep. You can create anything you want. Yep. Anything else? Yeah, exactly. So the biggest thing I want to you guys hit on and I want to focus on is you can create any type of world, any type of building, anything you want with these things. And now that sounds probably pretty cool to you guys. Like think of it. Think about in our real world. What if you could just go around and at the snap of your finger, you can just do whatever you wanted. If you wanted to put, let's say, McDonald's right there, you can just, McDonald's, boom. Free McDonald's, boom, you can do that, right? Wouldn't that be cool, right? Not just McDonald's, but think about it. If you could do anything you wanted, if you can make anything you wanted at the snap of your fingers, that would be cool. So, as I'm pretty sure all of you raised your hands, stuff like this can be a lot of fun. And the biggest reason is because you can create your own things, you can build whatever you want. And that's what we're kind of going to be talking about tonight. So, unfortunately, our world doesn't work like that. You can't go around and snap your fingers and just voila, everything's the way you want it to be. If you really want change or the world to get better, you need to put in a lot of work most of the time. And so, for example, one time when I wanted to change the world was when I was a PATH leader. As most of you guys will be doing next weekend, my group, for our service project, we decided we're going to donate some desserts and some small gifts to the police and fire departments in our area. And at the time, you're thinking this probably isn't going to be possible. Like, there's no way they're going to let us in. There's no way they're going to, let us just give them stuff. It ended up working out, and even though giving these small things may seem very insignificant and minuscule, it's really impactful to the people who got them, right? These police officers and firefighters, they don't usually get stuff like this. So when we went up to them and we said, hey, here's a box of cookies, and here's some gift cards, we want to say thank you. It really meant a lot to them, and it might not have changed the world overall, but it changed their world. And so the point of this story is you don't have to do something huge. You don't have to do something super flashy to change the world. You can change it just in a little small way. Even saying hello to a stranger is a great way to change the world. Maybe you feel similar to that. Maybe you feel like you want to change the world, but everything just seems so big and there's nothing like you can do as a middle schooler. The truth is that's not true. Even though you're just middle schoolers, you can change the world in so many different ways. God has made each of you with specific gifts and talents so that you can change the world around you and the world of others. So, I want you to take that piece of paper you have, and I want you to write down how can you make the world a better place? It can be big, it can be small, anything you can think of. What's one way you can make the world better? And when you guys are done, go ahead and crumple it into a little ball. Once you write down the thing. Yep, John. Yes, so on your piece of paper, write down one way you can make the world a better place. And then when you're done, crumple it into a little ball. I'll give you about another minute to do that. No, you're not throwing it at me, unfortunately. And when you're done, go ahead and stand up. That way we know. Don't throw them yet. Not yet. All right, once we're all done, everybody stand up and we're gonna throw them across the room, all right? I'm gonna give you about 10 seconds, so go ahead. No. All right, guys. Now, go around the room and find a piece of paper and pick it up and then take it back to your small group areas. Oh, there's a few up here. If you guys don't have any, there's a few up here. All right, now sit back down with your groups, guys. I'll wait. And wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right. So now in your small groups, I want you guys to open up your papers and I want you to discuss with each other what are some ways that we can make this change in our world happen. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on, guys, we're waiting. All right, thank you. All right, so today's big question is, what's the point of me? Think to yourself right now, what is the point of you? Maybe you love sports, maybe you love video games, maybe you love music, whatever it is, you have a point. There's a point to you. A better way to say it might be, what's the purpose of your life right now? Talk about a big question. That's huge. That means so much about you, your purpose. Maybe this isn't something you think too often about. You know, thinking about your purpose is usually a pretty scary thing, especially when people are always asking you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? All these different things. And especially since you're in middle school, this isn't something you have to know right now, right? It may seem really scary to think about what is your purpose, but you don't need to know what your exact purpose is. You see, when you were in kindergarten, I bet it was easy to answer that question. I'm sure most of you probably said, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a doctor or a teacher. When we're little, we have all these big dreams of what we want to be. But as we grow in middle school and high school, it gets a lot harder to actually figure out, what do I want to do? What is my purpose? The truth is, your purpose is so much more than just your career, though, right? Sure, knowing what you want to be when you grow up is a big part of your purpose, but your purpose is also your day-to-day life, right? Think of your personality. That's a big part of your purpose. God has given you specific and essential gifts and talents so that you can be just who he wants you to be. So some purposes you guys might be thinking about right now, you know, are some of the little things. Am I going to do band? Am I going to be in sports? What friend group do I want to be a part of? These are all great questions to ask, and they're all part of your purpose, right? They're not different from what do you want to be when you grow up. They're all part of what makes you, you. There's just so many things that you guys have to think about, but the truth is, you shouldn't be stressed over them. Your purpose isn't something you should be scared of or you should stress out about. It's something you should value. It's something you should be excited to learn about. Maybe this past year has been rough on you or your family, right? We've been through a pandemic for over a year and a half now. That's hard. It's really hard to think about, what is my day-to-day purpose even, right? Am I going to be able to get this homework done? Am I going to be able to, is your family able to support themselves? Some people are really struggling, and your purpose right now might be really hard to figure out. And when it comes to God and everything in church, the word purpose gets so much more stressful to think about. I want you guys to understand that God's plan for you doesn't mean you have to be a pastor. It doesn't mean you have to go to a different country when you're older and go on a mission trip, right? God's plan for you is that you follow him and you do as he calls you to. If you love God and the people around you, that's his plan for you. So whatever God's given you to fulfill that goal, that's your purpose. You know, some people are made to be pastors. Some people are made to serve for their lives, but not everybody, and it's okay. As long as you're loving God and loving others, that's your purpose. That's what matters. So now, all these questions probably feel really big, and maybe they even feel like questions you don't need to worry about right now. But I want you to consider and realize that whether or not you know your purpose, you still have it. Right? As I just said, it's to love God and love others. That's the primary purpose of your life. Your career and everything surrounding your future isn't the entirety of your purpose. God's plan for you revolves around you, the people around you, and God himself. So today, we're going to be reading from a letter written by Paul. Now, how many of you know who Paul was in the Bible? A few hands. So if you don't know, Paul was a major leader of the church after Jesus' life. In this letter we're reading, Paul was writing to a place called Corinth. This letter also mentions someone named Apollo, who was also another leader in the early church. And these two are what we would call influencers. That's because people followed them. They would travel around different parts of the world talking about God and preaching his message, and people would follow them. You know, they were big parts of the world at that point. Now, I don't know about all of you, but sometimes I hear things like this, and I immediately count myself out. I could never be like Paul or Apollos. I could never be this big, upstanding leader to people. I could never be this major influencer to others. And that's okay. You don't have to be. As I talked about before, God's plan for you isn't the same as everybody else. But Paul and Apollos, in this letter we're about to read from 1 Corinthians, they have a really insightful message on, even though we all have different purposes and we all have different things in our lives that make us who we are, we're all still the same in what our purposes lead to, and that's for glorifying God. So, we're going to be looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 5 through 9. And when you get there, if you could write in your margins, God knows we matter more. And if I could have somebody read that when they get there. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, 5 through 9. Page 1249. Anybody like to read that for us? Want to go? All right. All right, is everybody there? Five, four, three, two, one. Thank you. All right, go ahead. Thank you. So, who were Paul and Apollos? This verse tells us they were only God's servants. There were so many special things about them, so many different and unique things about them. But at the end of the day, they were simply the same as all of us, God's servants. They had different talents and different gifts that they were equipped with to lead the church and to lead people in Christ. But they were God's servants, so the same as us. That was all they had to be for God to use them. That was their purpose. They didn't need to be anything other than that. And what they do after that? The verse tells us the work the Lord gave them. They didn't try to find a plan on their purpose and anything other than what God called them to do. They just did the work that was theirs. They didn't try to go out of their way to do things that they weren't equipped for. They didn't try to be things that God didn't make them for. They were exactly the way God made them, and that's their purpose. So, when we look at this, right here I have a little thing of soil, and much like Paul and Apollos, each of us have different gifts. So maybe some of us are the seeds. maybe some of us are the seeds that help the plant to grow, right? Maybe some of us are the foundation of the plants, the roots that hold up the plants in God's plan. Maybe some of us are the water that helps to nurture and grow the plants. Whatever it is that you guys might be in this analogy, you're all doing the same thing. You're all hoping to make this plant grow. And when it grows, you get a beautiful green plant. But let's say, for example, if the water doesn't do its job, then the plant can't grow. And if the seeds aren't there, then nothing will come. So it takes everybody's purposes, everybody's gifts coming together to make God's plan come true. So even though you might think, man, my gift isn't that special, or his or her gift is better than mine, that's not true. Because without each of you, this couldn't be a reality. This church couldn't be a reality if only one person was using their gifts. So what does that look like in our day-to-day lives? Maybe in your friend group, you're somebody who's really good at listening. Maybe you're somebody who's really good at cheering people up. Whatever it is, every person in a friend group has their own, let's say, quirk, right? Friend groups usually don't have people who are all the same. Usually people are pretty different in their friend groups, and they all have either different personalities or they bring something different to the table. Just like Paul and Apollo, though, each person in a friend group helps to make that friend group grow and nourish. So when you guys, think about, even in your small groups, some people might be really quick to answer a question, or others might have to take a second and think about it. No matter who you are, what gifts you have, you're just as important as everybody else. The most important thing here is that it doesn't matter who's doing what in this part of your relationship. It doesn't matter who's doing what to further God's plan. Because God is the one who makes it grow. Right? We could all come together and we could all, come to church with our different gifts, but if God wasn't there making sure that everything was going according to his plan, none of it would happen. Right? So, you see, you matter more than you think. No matter what part you play in God's plan, you matter. Because by serving your unique role, you can be part of what God is doing to make the world better. Today, you can do something. You can say hello to a stranger and make their day. You can be part of what God's doing in your life and the lives of others right now. By being a part of making the world better, simply by being who God created you to be, that's God's purpose for you. If you are who God made you to be, that's your purpose. Maybe it's as simple as being kind to someone, or doing your best at practice, or helping out your parents at home. Maybe it's doing your best in a certain class, or even inviting someone to church. What you're good at, who you live with, what you care about, those are all things that add up to your purpose. All that stuff was made by God and given to you. God gave you those unique skills and talents so that you can be who he wants you to be. I'll say it again. You matter more than you think. Now, these big questions we have about why we're here and what we're doing in the world, the answers are found in God. God is always in the business of making the world better. And we can be a part of that story every single day. You can be a part of what God is doing in the world right now. That's how much you matter to him. He's using each and every one of you to make this world a better place. Now, let me be clear. Sometimes we hear the word better and think it means that we're going to get everything we want. The truth is that's not exactly how it works. following God's purpose doesn't mean that your life is instantly going to get better. You know, following God's purpose doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to get more likes on TikTok, or I'm going to get better friends, or I'm going to be more popular. No, it means that your purpose is being fulfilled and you're following God's plan. That's the reward, is that God has a plan for you, right? God has a plan to prosper you, as Jeremiah says, and to give you hope for the future. It doesn't mean that everything will be immediately great or immediately good for you. So, how do we start to find God's purpose? Start by noticing. Look at your schedule for the next day. Think about what classes will you be in? Which people will you see? What can you do in those different groups and settings that can help you emphasize your purpose and live out who God made you to be? Think about how you can join in on that purpose. What can you specifically do to further God's purpose in different parts of your life? Maybe there's a friend group you have that, you know, doesn't really know God. Maybe you're the only one in that friend group who comes to church. Maybe God's wanting you to invite them to church or just talk about it with them. And that's probably a scary thought, but if you pray and you trust God, he'll give you the strength to do that. So remember, the biggest takeaway, you matter more than you think. Your purpose is so much more than what job you want to have in the future. You can be a part of what God is doing to make the world better right now. You can change the world in so many different ways because of unique gifts God gave you. You don't need to do something huge or flashy to change the world. I'm sure you've all heard it before, but the smallest actions can have the biggest impact. You may just all be middle schoolers right now, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything, like I said before. Your purpose isn't just your future, it's who are you right now to God. Do you love God and the people around you? Do you show that love every day? That's your purpose. That's what you should focus on, and that's what will make the world better. So, what's the question this week? What's one way you think God can use you to make the world better? What's one way you can use your unique gifts, the specific talents God gave you, to make the world better? What can you do? Maybe in a very small way, but what's something you can do to just make the world better? So, I want to end tonight with a short video clip.
I think we all need a pep talk. The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, aren't we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. 2 roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My pants broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But what if there really were 2 paths? I want to be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. No, he retired. Yeah, that's right. He retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. It's everybody's duty to give the world a reason to dance. So get to it. You've just been pep talked. Create something that will make the world awesome. Play ball.
All right, so guys, remember the question of the week. How can you change the world according to God's purpose? What can you do with your unique, special gifts to make the world a better place? Thank you, guys.
Guys, let's really hear it for Ryan. He did an awesome job up here tonight, so thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a couple of announcements for this evening. Students who come in late to small group, make sure you check in with Kim or admin in the annex. We need one leader from each small group to grab the materials on your way out from Kim. A big piece of paper hanging in the hallway, grab that on the way to the small group. On the 16th, coming up this weekend, is the fall cleanup. That's a good thing you can get on your service serving notes that you can put on there on your chart. That's from 9 a.m. until noon this Saturday. Sign up for the Path Bash. That's coming up in a week from this Saturday on the 23rd. So if you haven't signed up, get signed up. Your pumpkin carving contest that we have going on as well, which I know your leader's going to be working with you, with our theme being superheroes. And if you're online, you can go ahead and hit the Zoom small group. But before we go, let's end with a word of prayer. Dear Lord Jesus, thank you for bringing us here tonight. Thank you for the special words that came from Ryan's mouth that will help us to start thinking about what kind of purpose that we have and what purpose that you have for us. We ask that you help us and guide us and help us to see that purpose that we have within various groups that we have, or just the purpose that you have for us in general. We ask that you be with us during our small group tonight, that we have some great discussions and be able to figure out a little bit more about you and how you can be a big impact in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, head on to small group, guys. Have a great evening. We'll see you next week.